Let's go over envelope assemblies in the thermal analysis workflow in Climate Studio. So here's a house from week 2, exercise 2, now being used in exercise 9. Um, I have a number of zones with windows. I've run some simulations so they're functioning. Let's look at a zone and see what's in it. So if I go to the kitchen and I open it, there's a bunch of stuff in here. So I've got something called a facade, which is when we see the word facade, in this case, it's going to mean a surface that is touching exterior air. We have partitions, and these are surfaces that are separating one zone from another. So another facade, and then these windows. We also have an exterior floor. So that's going to be, in this case, what's touching the ground, and we have a roof. So what does that mean? What are those? Why would we have different names for different surfaces? So if I come in and now edit this zone and I go to the envelope section, I see I have all of those categories here: roof, facade, partition. Slab would mean, and these little graphics are very helpful here. It's basically saying a floor between floors. Um, so that's kind of weird. That's not the way. This is not the way we typically would use the word slab. Usually for me, slab means concrete. This just means floor between floors. Then external floor in this case is basically any cantilever. So it's a horizontal part of an envelope that's exterior. So vertical would be facade. Horizontal is external floor. Then we have ground slab. That means a slab that's touching the ground, and ground wall is a wall that's touching ground, so a bermed or underground wall. And so whenever we create zones, this Climate Studio automatically, based on the rules of Energy Plus, it decides what to call each surface and how to do the calculations in the Energy Plus, which is the energy model that's going on in the background. So what if we want to change these? So I'm going to go back into my kitchen. I'm just gonna come on the facade, and what we're saying here. Let me go back out, right? Is that if I edit the facade here, I'm going to be editing both of these. Open it again. That surface and this surface are the facades in this zone. I'm going to edit that. Come to facade. If I click on it, what I have it set on right now, because whatever I was doing with this model is an envelope that I made trying to simulate something that I was considering to be a 1960s stud wall. Uh, and what do we have here? We have, this is a section through this is something that you'd be used to seeing if you've ever drawn building sections, and specifically if you're trying to talk about the different layers in the section. So we have the inside with the outside, and there's two layers here. On the inside we have a wood stud, and then on the outside it's chipboard. Um, so let's say I want to change this, and specifically here I'm talking about in exercise 9. There's a chart. Here it is, that is saying for the different templates I'm asking you to make, we're going to have different R values. Because remember, so in this chart, we're in IP units up here. And so our construction assemblies have an R value, so that's an IP. So this would be, we're saying that our roof is R16. Our facade for the old school envelope is going to have an R value of 9. So let's get an R value of 9 for this facade here. So what I'm going to do is just copy this. It doesn't matter. I need to copy some. Um, and actually, these have all been copied. So this is if you haven't made an envelope yet, you're going to have something like this. Default construction is just concrete. So if I want to make a new one so that I can change the values, I click this button here to make a new one. I'm just going to say test. I probably had to have one named test. I'm going to say test 5. I could, of course, give more information here. Say OK. Now I can edit test 5. So I'm going to come over here and edit it. And let's remind ourselves what are the variables we have here. We have U value and R value, thermal capacitance, embodied energy. In this case, the kind of the default material here, they didn't have an embodied energy calculation for it. Um, so let's just not worry about that right now. But we've talked about these units. You should have had them in previous classes. R value is the reciprocal of U value. So we're saying we want an R value of 9. The way I would create that is first I'm going to, if I had, by the way, you might have picked something that had several materials. Um, for this assignment, you could actually create an envelope and that'd be great. Or if you're just trying to go quickly to get the point here, I'm going to delete this second material and have just this one, and I'm going to edit it. I'm going to click on it. And when you do, this materials library comes up. I'm going to pick a material that I know the R value of, or doesn't even really matter, but I'm going to see if they have rigid foam insulation. I know that's going to have an R value of about 5. By the way, so I'm going to just think of that. That's about R value of 5 per inch. Right now we have zero point 0.8 feet. So if I wanted to get R9, I'm going to be talking about an inch, almost 2 inches. So if I go 0.25, I have an R value of 12.3 now. So let's go down to, let's just try 2. R value of a little bit over 9. I don't need this to be exact. I'm just trying to get you guys to get the idea. I want to have, I go back to this. Um, we're just going up, right? So this is an old school approach. Energy code, current energy code is higher. Something like passive house is going to even be higher. So that's really all I'm trying to get across. I could dial this in. I could go 1.85 or something, try to get it right to 9. But anyway, we're close enough. I say okay. I now test 5 is an envelope with one layer. It's rigid foam insulation. I don't really care because all I'm trying to do is just get something that has a value of an R value, which is a resistance to heat flow in square feet, degrees Fahrenheit, per degree Fahrenheit per hour per BTU. And if I say okay, then that now is applied to this facade. So if I wanted, so done. Now, if I wanted to do all the things, all the R values that are listed here in the old school, I'd go back and I'd do a roof of 16, external, if there is an exterior floor, in other words, if you have a cantilever of R9, ground slab of R1, you just follow those and fill in. You're not going to use all of these necessarily for this is just all the categories that they're allowing. You just pick the ones that you need for your envelope, and they'll be the same ones that are listed here. But you see, then I just changed the facade R value. Actually, doesn't show you that in this summary here. But if we go back and edit it again, we can see that that's the new value. All right, so that's how you do it. The final thing I'll say though is if you're really doing this right, we would have come in here and we would have created an envelope that had I'm going to edit this, multiple layers, and I would have built up a full envelope of and you can I can move these around. I can put that in the middle, whatever, to create an envelope that was actually what I'm designing for my project. And then remember, once we've saved that, we have that in our template. So you name it correctly and you save a template, then you can go back to that iteration and try something different in your design, and then try them both by just selecting a different template and run the simulation and see what the difference is. All right, that's it.